else is contributing to this. Should catch a little bit of the light now. It's got a bit more depth visually. That looks pretty nice. This could be even darker right there. Where'd my blur go? Sometimes it just goes away. Wish we had a proper blur. Like it's just not as blurred as I'd want. I guess I could actually just do a little filter. Get rid of quite a bit of the intention of some of these things, but it does look nice. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. All right, I'm going to save this here. I think we're going to switch over to trying to make a very nice looking eye material for her. And probably some hair as well. And these other lighting schemes just really don't do her justice. I feel. We're gonna have to work on the mouth interior as well. All right. All right. Now, the eye. Ugh. This is the reference image, and we want to make an eye that looks like that. That's kind of our goal there. So we're going to use a program called Instamat in order to achieve that. Because I have an eye generator, but it's just really not going to give me the level of quality I'm looking for. Well, let me think about it. I could certainly get a lot closer. Why don't we just do it with the generator I have for now? And then we'll, if I really need a different one after this, then we'll do it. Take the blue eye here, which is the texture we're currently looking at. Oh, this is green. Do blue eye. Well, no. Light blue green. Save. So this section is the rings here. Leave those on bluish for now. This is the main color, so we'll sample there. This is the outer color, and that's kind of a darker blue. Do that. Pupillary is the interior, and that is a very light green. So, and then dark ring. We're gonna keep pretty much the same, maybe make it a little bit bluer. Hello, Zach. Welcome. We're working on some eyeball colors right now. How's your day going? This should definitely be a bit greener. Day's going okay, well good. Hopefully it continues to be good. An interesting look we've got. Just a little bit brighter would be nice. And then we'll just scale it up. Right about there. So yeah, I can just totally edit the mesh itself. So I can't do that. This. Alt S. And we'll say blue, green, 1. Go to our Penelope. So this is the avatar we were working on yesterday. We've got her textured, or at least started texturing her. Ooh, she's looking pretty good. Probably needs a little bit more imperfection. A little too perfect right now. More like a mannequin. So the ear duct is a little too dark here. A little too red. But I do want to swap out her. Actually, sorry, I have to go to File, open recently, or open. We want to go to source eyes, auto eye material, open this up. And then of course, make a new eye. Take the material, boom, eye, blue, green, one, boom, and then mark as asset. And swap this for this one. Maybe make the iris a little smaller. Let's see how it looks. So save that. Back to Penelope. Ugh. Asset browser. Oh, one more time. Back to the other one. I had to move the material into the correct location. Kind of fun to have a collection of eyeballs. Cool. Save that. Texture looking nice. Thank you, Koyaito. Welcome. Oh, Koyaito. Yes. Sound that out in my head. Actually looking pretty good. We're just playing around with some final touches on everything here. I'm gonna make her pupil just a little bit smaller. This right here, boom, save. How'd you get the texturing done so fast? I popped my head in yesterday and it was just a sculpt. Well, I did start my models from a base model, so I already had the character unwrapped and rigged, so from my base model. So there wasn't any unwrapping to do. And then as well, in Substance, I do have, every time I texture a character, I usually end up with like a big old stack of folders and all that jazz, but I try to turn it into a smart material. So for this one, when I'm done with this character, I'll pass it along as human base 3. That's an elf, but close enough. And that way I have a great starting point. I just have everything where I expect it to be, and so just a lot of it is stuff that I'm kind of carrying over from previous projects, basically. I do wish a little bit of her initial skin texture came through on the highlights, but I suppose that's what makeup does. It does actually cover that up, so leave that alone. Hello, JW. Welcome. It's been a while. How you doing? We're texturing this lady. I'm also spitting everywhere. Okay, I want a little more detail on the lips. And freckles. That was the main thing I wanted to do, was freckles. So let's do that. We have a moles layer. I'm just going to duplicate that. Call it freckles. And we'll go ahead and adjust this. So we're using a noise texture. I'll switch to mask view so I can see what's going on. Do this. But we want a higher density. So we're going to turn it down a little. There, and then to... It has! Hopefully you've been up to fun stuff. Working on anything fun? Ooh, and I guess I will technically do the freckles above the makeup, even though that's not realistic. But I think it'll kind of help the realism. Then we'll add a paint. Select the character. Boom. Swap it to multiply. We can ease in these freckles here. Probably still a little too strong, and they're kind of warped a little. It's a bit more freckle-like. We'll do one pass like this, then duplicate it, set it to linear, and tile it a little bit more so we get some nice variation in there. Okay, looking good. And then freckles usually are more like an overlay kind of look. Been on and off with modeling, but enjoying it whenever I dive back in. Well, that's the whole goal. I'm glad you're having fun with it. Maybe the tiniest amount of height. Make them a little more orangey. Oh, my eyeball. that. Then I will do one more fill on top, set to multiply. So we can just have a little dial on the blend. Even just a mild amount of freckles seems to help quite a bit. So definitely leave this on. A little too strong. It's a commission or a personal one. This will actually be a product. So, I finally, I think you may have been here on one of my many rants talking about how I want to do D&D stuff, but we finally have started. So I've got a my first project up and running, which is our calling it the Cursed Village, but it's like a werewolf and character pack here, and I'll just drop that in chat. Bada boom. But they're both VR chat avatars and Warudo VTubers, so you can pretty much use them wherever you want. You can use them in Unity, use them in VR chat, use them in for Discord and stuff. Super useful, hopefully. And then we're kind of starting on the next batch of characters, which is going to be like elves. So the last one is kind of our first, just getting warming up, classic medieval fantasy stuff. Now we're kind of branching out a little. Thank you. Let's get a little more detail on them lips. Lips. Good makeup. Might pull everything out of the makeup. Yeah, we'll leave it alone for now. And here we're going to add. Let's try just curvature for now. And we'll set the mode to cavities. Dual. Seem to be really getting anything there. So let's try the world space normals, and we're going to hack it. Getting rid of the world space normals, and we'll replace this with just the normals of our character. This. It's like a little bit of a cheat, but kind of helps us get like a depth on there. And we'll just add in a kind of a darker red. I'm going to pull out the texture I know is already there. I'll do a slight blur on that. Now it's a little too red, so we'll switch it to overlay. And just play around with this. Does give it a little more oomph. Then we'll go into roughness and pull it, push it up or down. Some nice interplay between the two layers. I think actually we're going to give it a very mild amount of metallic, which is definitely not realistic, but I think it'll help kind of just help. Hoping it'll help. Now for this whole chunk of work, our lips here. Just lips now. We do have a blur on top. I think that I'm gonna leave that right there. Maybe cut out the edge just a little. Something looks a little off here. This side's different than that side. So let's clean it up. Much better. Gorgeous. All right, take a look in Blender. I'm just going to reload the file. Someone told me there's an auto reload of the textures, so maybe we'll get that set up in a second. Oh yeah, much better. Something's a little off with the mouth. Should be able to, yeah, we've already masked out the lips. Be able to get a darker, softer transition here by going to back to the lips. The color that I added in here. Oh, well, I guess we already have that, which is, I'll call this one lip texture shadow. This one will be lip interior shadow. we're going to add one more generator on here. We'll use the UV border. Set it to multiply. Or linear dodge. That is not helpful. Okay. About. We'll just paint it. Just paint it. Why not? Why does it look so different? Just don't like this. It's so dark. Something else is adding to the color there. It's our AO curve. So to counteract that, we have a lips eyelid mask. We want to add that as a fill here, set to the anchor point. I believe we want to subtract. So now it should just be what we're painting on here that's contributing to the color. So close. There's something, still something else right here. Might just be the lips themselves. Aha! Something to this effect. And filter. Do another blur. Nice and soft. Okay. We're going to get rid of the blur we have up top here. And we're just going to manually ensure that the edge of our lips is working correctly. You know. Actually, you know what we'll do? We'll paint it in roughly. And then on top, another paint we'll call lip path mask. And we're gonna make a paint along path. And just gonna do this. And that way we can get an extremely controlled way to ensure the quality of the edge here. and then I might still blur it anyway, but now I feel really confident. I know what's going on below that. Still getting this spot. I can't even make that any darker. Oh, because it's I think that be pretty darn close to the final version. And some ambient occlusion now into the mount. Here. Shift Control E, send that textures over. Save that. Take a look at Blend Door. Much better. The wetness of the lips might still be a little strong. Yeah. Especially because it's super wet there. They've got this kind of highlight on the edge. Yeah, at the same time, it makes sense. That we'll see. That really depends on how it comes out in Unity. So we won't worry too much just now. Now, because she's got freckles on her cheeks, I think we can add them in a few other spots. So freckles here. I'm going to take our second layer and just lower that. Well, just trying to increase the smaller freckle amount. Maybe we should switch to a different version. A noise. Cells. We tile that a whole bunch. Change that balance. A little too strong. That doesn't work like that. That's actually really good. Feather styline. Let's say 60. Yeah, that looks a lot more like freckles than anything else. I'm just gonna lower the opacity a touch. A little too strong. I don't know. I like it right now, but might be a little strong. One final touch. Filter. Warp. That seems super unnecessary. Okay. But now we can paint our freckles. Huge. Just a little bit more on our nose. And we're pretty much good to go. Oh, of course we have to put the freckles on our ears. It does give a lot of believability to the character. Now, I'm a little unsure of how I want to approach the eye line here. What is causing this red here right now? It's part of the lip. Yeah, I want to get rid of that. We're going to kind of restart our painting there. We already have this eye line. It's more like a, I guess, a mascara. Little small. Let me see. I don't need some reference. Female eye close-up reference. So hard to get images that are not AI generated nowadays. Believability is key. So the skin color difference is there a little bit. Like in here, it gets darker around the edge. And in the groove and crease of the eye, you can kind of see the skin get darker. But it's pretty mild right there. I kind of wonder if this is necessary both ways. Just save this, export it, and take a look in Blender one more time. And then I'm going to have to update the cage because we're still getting a little bit of clipping in a few spots. This is so blown out. I don't like the... Oh, that feels a little bit better. Save that. And reopen it. Well, that's certainly a lot paler. Gives her quite a different look, to be honest. Okay. Ugh. I think even though the skin doesn't change color, we'll still want the eyelid itself to be a little bit darker because oftentimes it's shadowed. So it should, even though the skin itself is not that much darker, it's still going to appear darker. At least that's my little noggin's thinking. So we're gonna give that a shot by first adding this. Now this is the eye line. We're gonna change that color. We're gonna make it a little. Oh, the wetness doesn't matter. It's just color. Make it a little pink. Like that. And then we want to take this path and move it inside. That feels more realistic right off the bat, which is always a good sign. Still a little unnaturally dark there, and that's because of our socket here, which we'll leave. I still would like to paint in this area. It's just fleshy red. Ooh. Which I guess I could do just by taking this. We are using this for the nostril as well, but I mean that would also be kind of a fleshy dark red. As long as it has high ambient occlusion, that's all that really matters. Okay, that looks good. That looks a bit improved. Just reviewing these eye images. Okay. Save that. Export the textures one more time. Save. Ugh. You know what? I want to turn on the wire. I'm gonna take our blur. Yeah, let me just turn it off quickly. Yeah, so it is kind of getting pushed up to the top eyelid. And let's double click these so we're actually using straightened path. And I think we can simply turn down the hardness on this and then turn that size back up. Nice. Okay, one more little eye line to add. This one we'll duplicate. We'll call it, I guess, mascara. It's not really gonna be. Oh, okay, yes, it will be mascara. Kind of like that. Make it black. We'll take out the roughness, and so make sure it's put above the wet layer. And then in here, I will take this like this point, delete it. There's a way to break apart the paths, but I forget what it is. I guess we'll just delete the path right now. And looking at some of these eyes, there usually is kind of a darker line. And right about this spot, at least when it comes to having some makeup. Even if it's more of a perception thing. I think a little bit of that would go a long way. Just wish we could taper individual points. That'd be so useful. Save. And now exporting. A little more subtle. That feels even more correct. All right. What next? We're gonna close Substance for now. Go to Blender. Save it. Now we want, let's do some reference. So I believe that in like The Last of Us, let's see, Last of Us, eyebrow, no, that's the show, hair card. Oh. We're seeing example of hair cards. So it looks like some games do use small cards, which makes sense because you're actually probably getting somewhat the same vertex count, and especially for the eyelash. Yeah, see, they have these little tufts there. I think that's what I want to do. This is a lot closer to what I was doing on the other one. Which honestly, it looks pretty good. It's quite simple. Maybe I'll just stick with that one for now. It's not going to be a big difference at the moment because no matter what, an eyebrow is going to feel pretty flat. So I think we can just get away with doing the strip method. So we can do a little test right now. So what we'll do, sorry, I need to check my vertex count. This is 16, right? Yeah. What we'll do, we're gonna take base mesh, boom, something like this. Maybe this row as well. Duplicate it and separate it. So now we have this little floating chunk of mesh. We can get rid of, or we can swap this material for the hair material. We're going to use this one, Nora hair. Hair. Go to UV editing. Unwrap it. Boom. And then it's more a placeholder than anything right now, because this is not going to be the eyebrow we use, but all right, not too shabby. We're going to redo this in a little bit. Yeah, probably do this a few times, actually. Awful. That actress's name? Anna Taylor Joy. It's very similar. Not like one-to-one, but maybe it's just the half open mouth. Alright, I'm gonna go to the restroom. I'll be back in just a second. All right, everyone, I'm back. Sorry for the delay. I feel like the top of the lip is a little meh. Okay. And now that we decided to go back with the other hair method, I'm not super concerned with doing it any other way, because this works. It looks good. It looks nice. Nice to maybe have one more layer of hair. Probably not the best way to do that. I mean, I'm using an eyebrow or eyelash, just whatever the texture I'm using to make that go in and sculpt that up. Okay. Not too shabby. I'm enjoying how this is looking. Let's take a look at what she's going to look like with some hair. Do a quick little mock-up. This is some older hair that we're using on some of our other characters. It's quite nice. There we go. I'd say that's a pretty fast turnaround. We're getting some characters in. But let's look up some interesting haircuts. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time looking at Pinterest. Just loading it up right now. Be a little cautious because Pinterest can be a little bit of a gamble when it comes to the TOS sometimes. None of those are really jumping out at me. This one's kind of cool. So here's one that might be kind of fun. And I not like this one completely, but I am kind of intrigued by having like a very sharp edge. I think that might be kind of fun. Feels a little, I don't know, intentional. I mean, they are elves. Long hair is really the name of the game when it comes to elf. Let's see. Let's Google like a more typical elf. Oh, funny. The one I just saved did come up. Okay. This one's also quite good. Oops. Definitely a shorter cut. Longer cut. This one's a little goofy. Like an in-between. So probably not, if I do reference this one, it's not going to be as, would be the word? Boring. Goofy. Intense. Not going to be as intensely sharp. Okay, that's more than enough to start with. Let's drop these in our reference folder. Okay, and I think we'll start with this one. So we'll take our collection, duplicate, hair, call this hair, low poly. There. Bada bing, bada boom. And we're just going to start from scratch. Probably only need to go for another 30 minutes, 20 minutes at the most. I'm feeling a little tired. So we'll kind of keep it a little easier on myself today. All right. I think this contour here needs to be painted, smoothed out a little bit. Sleepy Sam! Exactly. Better get some rest in. Dang, my hair is going back so fast. I buzzed it about 3 weeks ago. I think it's been about maybe a little less than just 1 month since I buzzed my hair. Contour right here. We'll switch to erase. We'll turn down the opacity and then good. That's on the lower layer. Actually, we're just lagging like crazy. Going to add again? Yes, indeed. I think we're going to shoot for just going straight all the way back to long hair. Save that. Export it. Boom. Save. Really does look like Anna Taylor-Joy. What the fuck? So funny. That's not intentional. But it looks remarkably like her. Something's really odd there. I think we fixed it. Bit of a mess there right now. Oh, I'm like meh. I'm like meh. Meh. She definitely needs some fuzz there. I'm actually liking the other haircut a little bit more right now. A little more classic elf. All right, let's call it here. I'm going to pause the music, do a little recording, and then I'll end the stream. Hey everyone, it is March. Sorry, no, it's not March. Let me end that recording. Hey there, everyone. It's April 2nd, 2025, and we're going to go over the work we did today. So we took our sculpture from yesterday. So yesterday we were working on building up concepts and kind of establishing the range of characters we wanted to make. And then we spent a good chunk of time sculpting the character, sculpting the body, and now we've baked those textures into one low poly version. So we have the sculpture and then the low poly version, but we've gone ahead and gone into Substance Painter. We've done some painting, obviously. We got some nice makeup going. We got some nice skin details. We go in here and see we've got freckles and skin pores and all that good stuff. It's looking quite nice. But right now, we've got the face kind of locked in. It looks remarkably like that actress, Anna Taylor-Joy. It's unintentional. Definitely not the reference I was using. And we'll probably switch it up so it doesn't look quite so much like her. But yeah, very pleased with how it's just come out. Pretty straightforward update today. We're just working on getting the hair dialed in right now. But we made an eye texture for her. We got eyelashes, eyebrow. Hopefully we'll have slightly thicker strands for the eyelash. But overall, I'm quite pleased with how it's coming out. And let me turn off the hair just for a little bit so you can see her ears. Nice, beautiful elf ears. They look great. And yeah, just super excited with how things are coming along because, wow, we kind of went through this character super quick, and I think the quality is pretty high. So looking forward to doing the rest of the cast. Yeah, we'll call it here for today's video. Short and sweet, and tomorrow we'll have another update for you. See you then. All right, and for the stream, I'm going to do my little thumbnail. I'm going to make my thumbnail real quick, so you guys feel free to hang out until then, but we are winding down the stream. So I'll be... Actually, I need to go here. And we're going to zoom in on the face. Have a good day, Sam. Thank you, Great Waffles. Enjoy your day. Good to see you. It's been a while. Hope you're having a great day. And yeah, looking at our elf. Hey, I'm so pleased. She came out super fast. Do 7. We'll go over to our little thumbnail maker. I'm gonna open up YouTube, upload video, select the file, videos, and this one. We'll call this vlog 27. And yeah, if anyone who misses the stream but you can't really attend it, I am doing a series of like daily or at least frequent updates on YouTube. So definitely feel free to check that out if you just want to stay in touch with what I'm doing. We'll go back to the thumbnail here. Add in that image. Go to the border. Back to video editing. Render out the frame. Oh, my back's hurting. Ooh. And bada boom. Saved. Upload that file. Bada boom. All right, and that's it. Thank you all for hanging out. Definitely hope you're all having an amazing Wednesday. I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow we're going to be wrapping up the hair, putting the final touches on the hair, ensuring the character is rigged, and then we pretty much have the body good to go. Now, after that point, we'll probably move on to a bit of clothing and maybe starting the male elf sculpt. But yeah, I'll see you soon. Great Waffles, JW, anyone else that's lurking, Ro, Koeto, Zach, thank you all for hanging out. Hope you're all having an amazing day. I'll see you tomorrow. Anyone else that hasn't yet, please hit that follow. Please hit that subscribe. I'm trying to grow. And thank you. See y'all soon. Bye.